You're listening to a random unnamed fantasy football podcast. Here's your hosts, Corey, Shebass, and Justin, a.k.a. the NFL Junkie.
That was probably the most shocking thing that I saw last
Gainwell?
week. Yeah, didn't see that coming. Like, you drafted a running back, and that's who you're going to use?
They're both on the waiver in that guillotine, and I was like, which one do I grab? The Gainwell's only one getting touches, so.
Hey, yeah, you just got to roll with one, right? You got to make a decision and go with it.
I just got this weird gut instinct. Look what happened with Gainwell in Philly. Same kind of situation. We all panicked. He was getting the ball, maybe one or two games, and then there's just something about it where they dial back from him. I don't know what it is. I just feel instinctually that that's going to occur again.
I know. The one thing that's the weirdest phenomenon in football is I don't get how a player can, a certain scenario can work out with a player. Like, for instance, the tight end will be really, tight end will have a really good fantasy year, and then he'll get traded to a team that doesn't use tight ends, but then he'll still be relevant. And like Kenneth Gainwell will always be a thorn in our side no matter what team he's on. Like, yeah, it seems like the coaching would change where that, would make it so that that particular player is playing a different, adding a different aspect to the game than he did with his previous team. But it's never like that. It's like that player always just keeps his traits with him. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Weird.
Do you think he's effective because he can catch a ball? Do you think that's why?
I wonder if he's just like the biggest kiss ass at practice. And these coaches are just like, we like this guy. Let's give these guys every third down. And then they're like, let's just screw all fantasy owners. I really do feel like certain coaches are like, we want to make it very clear that we don't care about fantasy football.
Well, when was he relevant in
the other
Philly?
day, some reporter asked the coach, so how are you going to be using, I can't remember what player it was. And they were like, the coach was like, this sounds like a fantasy football question to me. And the reporter was like, well, yeah, he's on my team.
Yeah, there was another coach answer with a player where he said, well, he's going to get somewhere between like 2 and 50 carries.
Oh, yeah. That was the same one. Yeah. He said something ridiculous.
What's his name down in Miami, right? Isn't that who it was?
Yeah, that sounds like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. He's the best, probably out of all the coaches, he's probably the best you could ask that question to.
This is the best fantasy podcast ever because we're like, one of the coaches said something about what's his name. We haven't even mentioned a person's
zero
name.
Data.
Oh, guy. Daniels, right? Isn't it Daniels?
McDaniels.
Oh, I forgot the Mick. I forgot.
Yeah.
He's got a sandwich at McDonald's. I hope he doesn't get fired, but I just love his press conferences.
Yeah.
Out of everybody, he's got the best press conferences.
Absolutely. He's got a sense of humor.
Yeah.
I remember when they first hired him, I remember thinking we should have hired him. The Vikings should have hired him.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I love Kevin O'Connell.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Now we do.
Culture he's built.
Yeah. It was between him and Harbaugh.
At the time, neither one of them were proven. It's just that Miami seemed unstoppable.
Yeah. God, our conference is just the NFC North, coaching wise. Like, I just think all 4 teams are solid. I think Ben Johnson's going to be solid.
I don't know, dude. That play call where he didn't kick that ball out of bounds to me was like that was like a nincompoop move. Like, I feel like he should feel really stupid about that one.
I don't think he cares. I think he just wants to see somebody else get lit up. Dude, I know, but think about it though. They could have won the game if he just kicked the ball out of bounds on Monday night. And the net loss of yards would have been 5 yards. You kick the ball out of bounds, the team gets at the 40. Right? You kick it out of the back of the end zone, the team gets at the 35.
Yeah.
I have no clue why that didn't register to the head coach in the NFL. Because it registers to everyone who plays Madden. Like, they're watching a game and they're playing Madden, and they play Madden, and they're like, wait a second, this is only a net difference of 5 yards. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Because
5 yards in a minute of time compared to, being back 5 yards and having 10 seconds left to try to make something happen.
There's a good chance that they could have got the ball back.
Yeah.
And they probably wouldn't have, because JJ McCarthy has just pure freaking diesel fuel running through his veins, but you never know. I do think we should start with the Giants-Cowboys, because Giants-Cowboys, although the Giants don't appear to be good at football, I do feel like there's a chance that there's some players in that game that we should start that are on that team. For me, obviously, Malik Neighbors. Is there anyone else on the Giants, Shebass, that you would consider starting?
Not really on that team. I mean, the running back situation is a split. So between Tracy and Scadaboo, I don't know. I would just keep an eye on Scadaboo and give it another week or two. And think
that's really disheartening, because in my guillotine league that I have Juwan Jennings in, my only other option right now besides Kenneth Gainwell is Scadaboo. So I'm really hurting there.
Yeah. If that's your only other running back, I would roll the dice on that. But I would think in the next week or two, he's probably going to take over that role from Tracy.
Really? I disagree with that. I think Tracy's going to maintain his role.
You think so?
I do. What do you think, Justin, on that one?
I'm still feeling the edge towards Tracy for a while now. I do think that the split will be closer to 50-50, but
okay.
I mean, at least early in the season here, I still think that Tracy's going to have a higher workload. I think Washington was pretty stout last week, so it was kind of reflective on Tracy's numbers, but hopefully he gets some room this week against the Cowboys. I'm forced to start him in a league. So kind of like a low-end flex is how I see Tracy.
Yeah, I'm in the same situation, so I have to start Tracy as well. But
I got to start Tracy as well. On the other side of the ball, we got CeeDee Lamb for sure. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people starting Dak Prescott. So what do you guys think of George Pickens moving into this, Justin? Because George Pickens last week to me was kind of a dud, man. I thought he was going to get a lot more looks. So week 2, do you think George Pickens will step up his game, or do you think that it's just going to be the CeeDee Lamb show again?
I view Pickens as a boomer bust, so it's kind of a roll of the dice if he's gonna score or not. I don't see the Cowboys being in comeback mode at any point. They're probably going to get a lead early and hold on to it. So I think it's a 50-50 with Pickens, but either way, CeeDee's going to get his.
Big Javonte Williams week.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't think Blue's getting in at all. So.
I'd have to agree with
the only way that he doesn't have a decent week is if the Giants can stop the run. I personally, I didn't think that Javonte looked particularly good. Maybe the first drive or two, he had a nice burst, and then of course was given the ball at the goal line twice and scored. The rest of the game, I think he averaged about 2 yards a carry, which is kind of what I anticipate from him for the remainder of the season.
Yeah.
Imagine he just gets 2 yards average per carry for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I think Shebass could get 2 yards a carry. Let's move on to the next game here. Seahawks Steelers. I do have a league where I considered picking up geriatric Aaron Rodgers because I have Tua, but I didn't do that. So, what do you guys think? Would you guys start Aaron Rodgers in a game if you had to as a second QB, or would you start him as a QB1 ever? Probably not QB1.
It depends who you have. I mean, if you're your quarterback situation's let's say I would probably start him over Jared Goff.
He had 4 touchdown passes last week.
Yeah, I know. He had a great week.
A lot of people say that's probably his best fantasy week, but who knows, man? Who knows? He might be Brett Favre 2009. I kind of have a feeling that he is.
Yeah, and maybe Tomlin knows how to use him. I just don't feel like the Jets ran the best plays with him. But also, it could have been a situation in New York where he was, trying to run his own plays and not actually running the coach's plays. So, I would roll the dice with him.
I don't see Aaron Rodgers as a top 12 quarterback simply because, Tomlin is his coach, but Arthur Smith is his offensive coordinator. So we all know what Arthur Smith likes to do, and that's run the ball.
Smith's probably going to put in like another QB for like a few plays just to throw us all off.
Yeah, Kenneth Gainwell, perhaps.
Yeah, Kenneth Gainwell. We're like, what?
Yeah, right. So I know he has the ability and he's got the weapons, but I don't know if game flow is going to dictate that Aaron Rodgers needs to throw 4 touchdowns again. I think the Jets came out with a good game plan and kind of punched him in the mouth and put up a lot of points, and it forced him to have to get into that mode. I know that Pittsburgh and the way they like to play is tough defense and they want to run the ball. So I think that Aaron Rodgers is adequate, but I don't know if he's always going to need to utilize it.
So what do you make of the run game there then? If you think they're going to pound the rock, do you think that we might see a big Jaylen Warren game, or do you think it's going to be the Kenneth Gainwell vulture of receptions and touches game again?
I don't know if Kenneth Gainwell had a lot of receptions, but it did seem like a 50-50 split. It'll likely be close to that again. Shebass, you might be able to touch on the Caleb Johnson situation a little bit better, but from the way I'm looking at it is they are just kind of shelving him, and then eventually throughout the year, maybe give him a little bit more touches. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I would stay away from Johnson. Just after last weekend, he didn't play very many snaps. I think, what was he at? Oh, I didn't write down.
1 for -2 and a fumble.
Yeah, 1 attempt. Yeah. And that's, especially with Mike Tomlin, that's gonna get you a seat on the bench and get some water for the fellas when they come off.
Yeah. Corey, just curious, did you bid on Aaron Rodgers in that Superflex league last week? Because I happened to be in that league with you, and I did go after Aaron Rodgers as my 3rd quarterback.
I actually didn't even bid on him.
Oh.
I didn't even bid on him.
Did you get him?
I did. I bid pretty high because so I had 3 quarterbacks, which I always like to have in a Superflex. I traded Danny Dimes and Trevor Lawrence for Dak Prescott, and then I instantly went and bid on Aaron Rodgers just so I could have that 3rd quarterback again.
Okay.
No, my QB situation is not sitting very good in that league. I got Tua.
Well, I got Aaron Rodgers if you want to talk.
I think I dropped him in one of my leagues. I can't remember which one I dropped him in.
Tua?
Yeah.
Yeah, Superflex leagues are weird though, man, because obviously all the QBs are taken, and then we actually have a guy, and Shebass and I have a guy in one of our other leagues, Biggie. You're familiar with Biggie. He likes to hoard all the QBs, so that's a Superflex league also. So, I mean, if you have a pulse and you play QB, Biggie will just throw you on his bench just to screw with the whole league.
Yeah.
So you gotta have your QBs in that league.
He's holding all the cards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's between him and McNeese. Those are the two that all were the quarterback.
I'll tell you, Biggie traded me my first championship in that league. We were all in together when we made a trade at like 1 a.m. for Todd Gurley, and I gave him Deshaun Watson. And then all of you guys were not very happy when you woke up the next morning and saw that. But I got Todd Gurley, and I went on a tear.
Yeah, you won the league.
Yeah. So I won the league. Well, I won the championship that first year, and then Ryan won the next 2. So Hanson dominated.
Yeah, Ryan, your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, Biggie is notorious though for sending out just trash trades.
Yeah, dude. He's like, hey, do you want 16 of my guys for your stud? That's how he rolls.
Just hoping that you click yes.
Who doesn't want that to happen?
Yeah,
Dustin just sent me one of those yesterday.
Dustin just my whole team.
Yeah, Dustin wanted to trade me Waddle and Njoku for Tet. And I'm like, well, I don't want anything to do with Waddle.
Yeah, I don't know why he would do that. I mean, I don't know why he thought he was going to be able to do that with you. That's wild. Like, you're supposed to do that with the players that don't know what they're doing.
Right. Yeah.
So still in that same game, we're all starting Metcalf, and every single person on the planet is not starting Calvin Austin besides me. Hello? No, I'm shooting podcast.
I'll touch on the Seattle side.
She's 2 rooms down from me.
Couldn't figure out where
where'd you go? Yesterday we were having a little game night with some people, and they were talking about how they get mad when their husband leaves and doesn't tell them where they're going, and she misinterpreted it, and she's like, me too. Sometimes Corey, he'll be like, in the backyard mowing the lawn. He doesn't even tell me. And they're like, no, I'm talking about like he leaves the house. Like you get mad at Corey for going outside.
And being great. Productive.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, all right. Don't need to talk about Calvin Austin. Seahawks side of the ball. What do you guys think about the running back situation over there? Justin, I know you're a huge Charbonnet guy. So what do you think of the running back situation in Seattle?
It's still a little bit of a cluster. I'm kind of playing it close to the vest. I do have Walker and Charbonnet in a league. Fortunately, I'm running several running backs deep, so I'm going to just bench them. I know a lot of people aren't going to be in that position this week. I think Charbonnet is still going to get the better end of that deal, at least for the next couple of weeks. He just, to me in the preseason, that's kind of one of the very few things that I did see with the limited action, but Charbonnet just looked fantastic. He was reading blocking and making cuts, and just he had a burst there. I know Walker, he does have that straight line speed, but he still looks a little bit off, and it might be the injury. But Charbonnet is at the top of his game, so I think the coaches are going to be trusting him, at least in the short term right now. And then we all know Walker's injury history, so it's probably only a matter of time before Charbonnet gets a couple games where he's kind of the only game in town there.
So you're saying we should all be trying to get Charbonnet right now?
Absolutely.
The lowest.
Yeah.
So I didn't see much of the game, but did he get most of the goal line carries?
Charbonnet, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he scored the touchdown.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he had 12 carries. He had 12 carries, and then Walker had 10. But I think their yards per carry, there was a pretty big discrepancy as well.
Okay.
Well, wideouts wise, obviously we know who their number one is, Jackson Smith.
Yeah.
What do you guys think is going on with Torrey Horton or Shebass? Do you think Torrey Horton's going to have any relevance at all this year?
No, probably not. I don't see that happening at all.
Going into the season, it seemed like people thought, well, this guy's going to be a starter, so he might have some fantasy relevance.
Yeah. I just don't see that happening this year. With him, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, I would, just because he's a boomer bust, right? You just never know how he's gonna be week to week. Being in that package, the coaching staff's familiar with Jackson Smith, so I just think he's going to be more involved. Cooper Kupp, I think, as the season goes on, might get more involved, especially as Sam Darnold gets a little bit more comfortable with their offense. But I would take a risk on him. I would put him in a flex spot. I wouldn't put him as a 1 or 2. I would think he would be maybe a 3 in that range. But
yeah. Moving on to the next game, Rams-Titans. We don't really need to talk too much about this because I think we're all playing our Rams. Stafford is probably still a good QB to play in a flex. I mean, he's probably not top 12 either, would you say, Justin? Probably a good second QB maybe.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, and then they have their wide receivers over there, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, obvious start. We all know Kyron's a start. And then on the Titan side of the ball, obviously, we are probably going to be starting Tony Pollard, Cam Ward, 2 QB league. Would you guys start Cam Ward? You think he's going to have a decent bounce back this week too? I know last week he was looking a little shaky.
Oh man, they're playing the Rams. I honestly probably wouldn't start him, but if that's your only option, I guess you're kind of stuck.
I was watching ESPN and they were talking about how he likes to run backwards, try to run out of a situation, and they were like, he's not Lamar Jackson.
That did happen. Yeah, that
did only happen. Lamar Jackson can do this.
I mean, it worked in college, but the college game is totally different than the NFL.
Speed is different. Against accountants. You're in college just dicing up like a bunch of accountants.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. And you get to the NFL and you're like, wait.
Well, the hope here is that he has some decent coaching that's going to help. Because right now, instinctually, he's doing that. But with some good coaching, he'll stay out of those positions. He has an amazing skill set. I think that he's just going to get better throughout the year as he gels with his teammates. I think definitely Ridley is a start and Pollard's a start. As far as Ward, I still would stay away from him, even in super flex leagues if you possibly can. But I do think that eventually at some point this year that he'll be startable.
I was going to ask you about Ridley, but you already said he's a start. So
yep, Ridley. Yep.
Moving on to Jets Bills. I think that I wish that I drafted Lamar Jackson. Yeah. I wish my 2 QBs in my Superflex league were Lamar Jackson and friggin'
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And then I just wouldn't have to play any other players. Just play just those 2 guys. And I won't have to worry about anything. But Jets Bills, we're all playing Josh Allen. When it comes to the wide receiver situation, who are you playing for the Bills, Justin?
Well, Keon Coleman is like maybe a lower number 2. The only reason I say that, again, I think he has the skill set. Last week he had a pretty big game, but I don't think game script wise that the Bills want to pass the ball 46 times. They usually pass, in the upper 20s, I think. So although he does, he's going to be probably the number 1 target for Allen, I don't see him putting up huge numbers. So definitely not a number 1, but a lower 2 or flex play.
And we're playing James Cook. I think on the Jets side of the ball, we're obviously going to be all playing Justin Fields, Breece Hall. You think Breece Hall will have another good game?
Yeah, I think so. I think the way that they're going to use him, I think he'll definitely be a starter.
Does it kind of feel like the Bills are playing like they played the Ravens and now they're playing like the Walmart Ravens? Doesn't it feel like that?
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. Yeah.
Let's say lose the Walmart Ravens. They're probably not gonna.
Also, on the Bills side, don't forget about Dalton Kincaid. I think he's gonna be a tight end 1 going forward. I just think he's gonna get a lot of targets, and it's gonna be the season where he's going to take off because I think he was hurt all last year. So with those injuries and him being 100%, I think he's gonna,
it is strange how like the better the QB, it's like the least valuable the freaking wide receivers are. It's like if the QB sucks, wide receivers we don't even want to start them. If the QB is too good, we're like, he's going to pepper everyone. So we don't want to start him wide off. It's like you want that QB that's like, I only know how to throw the CD Lamb, or you want that wide receiver is like, has that QB at that level where he's just going to get all those receptions.
Yeah.
We're starting Garrett Wilson as well. Is there any other Jets or Bills that you guys would start?
If you were in a deep league, I would go with Braylon Allen if you need to. So
there's a nice pause there.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think if you're super desperate, you can go that route. But other than that, I wouldn't put him in my lineup.
Was that your dog or was that my stomach?
That's my dog, and sometimes she sounds like she's a cow, a dying cow. I'm gonna go let her outside.
No, I know I should probably skip through some of these games, but I do want to touch on the Patriots Dolphins, and the main reason is because the Dolphins usually have, for one, Tyreek Hill usually has a massive week 1. Like I was shocked. The fact that he had no week 1 scares me into thinking that they're just done. You know what I mean? So as far as the Dolphins goes, are you starting your Dolphins? I know that you just mentioned you want nothing to do with Waddle, but a lot of people have Waddle as their like second wide receiver. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you got to start Waddle, right? You got to start Waddle. You got to start Tyreek Hill. You got to start Achane, right?
Yeah. Well, this is also part of the season where you don't want to have too many knee-jerk reactions unless it's very clear-cut. Now, the Dolphins were all, worried about how it's going to go down. I'm in a situation where, fortunately, Tyreek Hill is almost my 3rd receiver. I have Nico Collins and I have Sutton and then Hill. I was putting Hill as my 2nd receiver, but now I have him in my flex. And I have a hard decision between him and Henderson from the Patriots. So that's the call that I'm trying to make. I think that I'll probably go with Hill just for that simple fact that, yes, he still should have that ability. He should have a decent game, especially against the Patriots this week. If there's another dud here, then that's when I'll start to make some bigger moves.
If Tyreek Hill has a massive game today, are you selling high on him?
Oh, well, I have to put some consideration into that, but I would absolutely not be opposed to.
Yeah. If any of your Dolphins have a great game here, I don't know. I'm a little bit uneasy after week 1. It's never great seeing none of your players on your team do well. So
anytime you draft and then by week 2 you feel gross having them on your team, you definitely want to do what you can to change that situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
On the Patriots side, which wideouts are you guys starting?
Booty maybe as a flex.
Yeah.
I like Hunter Henry as a top 12 tight end.
Okay. And then Drake May. Would you guys be starting Drake May?
Yeah, if you drafted him as your quarterback, absolutely no issues rolling with him. Probably a top 12.
Sweet.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Their running back situation over there in New England, Justin, would you touch that running back situation over there?
I'll be forced to make that decision. I do have Henderson in a couple of leagues. I'd like to hear what Shebass has to say because he's the kind of rookie guru on that one.
He's also the New England running back expert, actually.
There we go. Perfect.
So he always likes to grab his New England running back. So
it's because I'm a Patriot.
Usually when I don't want to touch him, he's drafting him early. So I don't know. So what do you think?
Yeah, I like him. I know he did not have a solid week last week, but I would still roll with him.
But technically, Ramondre's still the running back RB1 over there, right?
I think so.
He is. But last week, he got the first quarter carries. He ended up with about 15 yards. And even though everybody's saying that Henderson didn't have a great game, I think that we all look at it like we expected him to have a 50-yard touchdown. And, I think he ended up with, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know, is 50, 60 total combined yards. If he would have happened to score, then we'd all be saying he had a good game. So I think he's definitely the better of the two between him and Stevenson. The coaching staff says they need to get back to the run, but Stevenson has been hot garbage for the last couple of years now, so it's not going to take long for this coaching staff to see, hey, we've got a better option here in Henderson, so let's give him the bulk of the carries. I just don't know if it's going to be this week or not.
Yeah, and I think anybody on the Patriots can go off this week too. I just don't. The Dolphins' defense just sucks. They didn't look good last week, so I think you roll the dice with them, and if you got him on your team, I'm starting him in all the leagues I have him.
Dolphins made Danny Dimes look like freaking Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
so
fantastic point.
We'll see how that goes. Moving on here to the Jags Bengals, we're all starting our boy ETN. Trevor Lawrence is a start. Brian Thomas is a start. What about Travis Hunter, Justin? Would you look at Travis Hunter as a start this week?
He makes me uneasy. I don't have any shares of Travis Hunter. I kind of jumped on the bandwagon, the one report towards the end of preseason that he was going to play more defense, and then they kind of did the switcheroo once the season started and said it was going to be the exact opposite. The way that his targets went down this last week, it looked like he's a short area target guy. So maybe in a PPR, you could put him in as your flex, but I wouldn't start him as your 1 or 2.
Well, they said right before the week that he wasn't playing defense at all, and then I turned on the game and he's in at D-back.
Well, and this week they came out and said that he's going to play more snaps, so on defense. So I think last week he only played 6 snaps on defense, which wasn't very much. But dude, he's a better defensive back than he is a receiver. So I don't know why they're throwing him in at receiver.
Well, one thing I was wondering is some leagues are set up to where if you have the player, I know Junkie, your teams are never like this, or your leagues are never like this, but some leagues are set up to where if you have the receiver and say that receiver catches a punt and he runs it back, you actually get the points for the punt return. So I'm guessing that there's certain leagues set up to where Travis Hunter, if he was to get a pick 6, it would apply to his point total.
Oh, yeah.
So if your league is set up that way, then obviously he's going to have a little bit more value. Yeah. My guess is most people that have their league set up that way don't realize that they have it set up that way until it happens.
They're like, hey, bonus. Or not if you're playing against him.
Even one of the leagues that I'm in with Shebass, I had Deshaun Jackson back in the day, and he ran a punt back, and I got 6 points. And I remember everyone being all pissed off, but that's just the way the league was set up. And
I think our Empire League is like that.
Oh, is it?
So if you have
that explains why Ryan wanted Hunters so bad.
Yep, exactly.
So if you got the Jags D and then you have Hunter and he gets a touchdown, he's getting you 12 points. Is that right?
So if you have Hunter and he scores and he has a receiving touchdown, you get 12 points. If he has a pick six, or you get 6 points. If he gets a pick six, you get the 6 points also.
That's a hell of a stack.
It's set up the punt return, the special teams. Gosh, I don't know if he gets a pick six if it's set up that way.
I don't know.
It wouldn't be any different. I don't think. Huh? That's interesting.
But I feel like it wouldn't be any different.
That. Yeah.
And so there's no. It explains why the commissioner wanted him so bad. Just kidding.
I do want to throw out another name in that game, and that's the tight end Strange. I'm starting him in a couple of leagues. He had a really hot first quarter last week before the weather delay. He was getting a lot of targets, and I feel like I like what I saw in him. So I went and snatched him up in a couple of leagues.
Yeah, nice. And I think he had a decent end of the season last year. So I know he was kind of a low tight end to take, but kind of a guy to watch. And then as the season goes on, I would just keep an eye on Tootin. I think that's how you say his name. I don't know if that's right or not, but that's how I like to say it. So, but I would definitely keep an eye on him because he was a solid running back in college. So he can break out, and I know in training camp he was being talked about, and then he had an injury that kind of held him back towards the end of preseason. So,
Bengals side of the ball, are you starting Joe Burrow? I like to call him Joe Bureau. I just say that because apparently if you're Shebass, you get to change the players' names and say it however you like to say it. So we're going to go Joe Burrow. We're going to go Chase Brown, Jamar Chase. Hopefully he has a comeback, bounce back week. T. Higgins for sure. And then would you guys, Justin, would you start Noah Fant? Would you consider him a starter or no?
No.
They have way too many fantasy relevant players on this team.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Bengals kind of every once in a while their tight end has a decent game, but then he completely disappears. From a history standpoint, but we all used to like Noah Fant and thought highly of him, and the skill set's there. But yeah, I wouldn't. There's plenty of other options.
Dude, the funniest bit I heard in a while was on the Matthew Berry's fantasy football podcast where he was talking about Chase Brown. Did you guys hear this one? It was like a few weeks ago where they were saying how Chase Brown's going to gobble up all the carries, so they started calling him the gobbler.
Well, I didn't hear that.
And then one of the guys on the show was like, well, his last name is Brown, so let's start calling him the Brown Gobbler. And then they were just all dying, dude. And the whole time they were calling him the Brown Gobbler. They're like, no guy wants to have this as their nickname. Right. This is his nickname.
Yeah, now it's gonna stick.
All right.
Well, Burrow's even calling him that now.
Bears Lions. It's it's going to be a revenge game for everybody over there. I am forced to start Caleb Williams in a league. I'm not super happy about it, but you got to do what you got to do. I'm not sure if the Lions are the same team as they've been. I know that a lot of you guys were saying last week that was an overreaction, that the Lions just had a bad week. Lions, are you guys starting those running backs over there? Obviously you guys are, right, in Detroit?
Yeah. I wouldn't hesitate on starting any of those guys.
I don't need to spend a lot of time on this game. I think it's a get right game. They played the Packers last week in Lambeau. Look what they just did to Washington last night. I think it was more of a Packer thing than a Lion thing. So definitely a get right game.
That the Bears know exactly what they're going to do.
Excuse me.
From a scheme standpoint, you would think that the Bears would kind of know how to stop them. And
you would.
One of these two teams is starting 0-2, which is devastating. If it's the Lions, that's pretty devastating.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Bears. Bears are going to be 0-2.
All right. Broncos Colts. Moving on. I actually have had to pick up Marv Mims in a league because that's how bad things are. On the Broncos side of the ball, you guys are obviously going to be starting Cortland Sutton. There's probably going to be a lot of guys out here starting Bo Nix. Justin, who else is starting on that Broncos offense?
I think that I'll start Dobbins in a league as a number 2 or a flex. He seemed to get the bulk of the carries, and he's healthy. So I have him as well as and now I'm having a brain fart. Who's the rookie?
Oh, RJ Harvey.
Yeah.
Yeah. He only had 6 rushes last week.
But I mean, he had 70 yards. So
yeah, the 50-yard rush.
He's a boomer bust, right? At this point, I don't see him, unless you absolutely have to start him.
Well, J.K. Dobbins has had a pretty poor injury history as well, so maybe R.J. Harvey's a stash as well.
I do have both of them in a league. And last week I started Harvey just because everybody was high on him and he looked good in preseason. They seemed to give him a lot of work in the preseason, and so I went with Harvey. But Dobbins got the bulk of the carry. I'm going to flip the script and go with Dobbins for a while. It'd be interesting to look back and see how Peyton handled Kamara and that workload his rookie year. I think his rookie year is when they signed AP as well. So they had kind of a three-headed monster type of attack in New Orleans when Kamara was a rookie. So if we go back and look when he started turning the corner and giving Kamara the bulk of the carries, I kind of see this potentially as mirroring.
That happened right away because remember Sid actually drafted Kamara in their Empire League they were in, and everyone was like, I didn't even know because I don't watch college football. I didn't realize the impact Kamara was going to have. And remember, they cut AP after like week 2 or something.
Yeah, I don't know if it was quite that quickly, but it was earlier in the season. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I do see obviously he trusts the rookie if they can prove themselves early on. And with maybe the game plan was J.K. Dobbins down the throat, but when you got R.J. Harvey ripping off a 50-yard run on one of his 6 carries, it's hard to not see it and recognize it. So I think it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I completely agree with you too. That's the way I viewed it. I thought they were going to use him more as like an Alvin Kamara type situation. And then also Patrick Bryant. I think that's the rookie wide receiver. I thought Sean Payton came out and said, hey, he's kind of like a Michael Thomas. And I was like, okay, well, maybe they're going to actually use him. And then they didn't use him at all. I'm so confused why he came out and said that in a report. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, with rookies, they've got to prove themselves, and it may be a matter of time. I did draft him after that comment. Well, should we speak it into existence?
Yes, Marvin Mims, please.
Well, he's the epitome of the boomer bust. Unfortunately, you don't have Cortland Sutton in that league because he's going to be the model of consistency. And then as far as the tight end, Evan Engram really scared me with his usage. I was high on him earlier. Hopefully, he turns it around this week too.
Yeah. Colts side of the ball, we're all playing Danny Dimes. Jonathan Taylor's getting played. And then if you're me, you're also playing Michael Pittman Jr. in multiple leagues because I have him all over the place.
I think Tyler Warren is an automatic start where you have him as well.
All right. I meant to get some shares of Tyler Warren, which I have 0 shares of Tyler Warren in any league. Same. Instead, I even have a league where I have Bowers and Kittle, and both of them left the game last week.
Oh.
So,
jeez, do you have leagues with both of them?
Yeah, I got one league with both of them. I was price enforcing and ended up with Kittle, and then it stopped me from getting DK Metcalf by $1. Okay. And then Kittle got hurt. So, yeah, that one hurt. Panthers, we're all starting Tet. Who else you guys starting on the Panthers offense? Justin, obviously, you're starting Hubbard over there, right?
Yeah. Hubbard's a start. He's a top 24 back. And Tet, like you said, other than that, I'm not starting anybody.
And then I have a league where I'm starting on the entire Cardinals offense. I got Trey McBride. I got Marvin Harrison Jr. Obviously Kyler Murray. Who else do I got on that team? Oh, I got
Connor.
Who else do I got?
You have Connor.
Oh yeah, I got James Conner as well.
Yeah.
So
yes, you do.
All those guys.
I think you have their kicker as well.
Might as well move to Phoenix at this point.
Yeah. Eagles Chiefs. I'm a little bit nervous still on AJ Brown. How are you guys feeling on AJ Brown week 2?
AJ himself was a little nonchalant, saying, "I'm good. I'm excited. I think we've done this multiple years at this point. He's going to be fine."
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're starting AJ Brown. We're obviously starting Saquon Barkley. We're starting both quarterbacks, Hurts, and we're obviously starting Mahomes. Are you guys starting Mr. Swift in this one? Travis Kelce?
Oh God, he's such a hit and miss. I if you have to, I would. If you have other options, I would go that route.
Sneaky start, Hollywood Brown this week?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
And he's the only guy that Pat Mahomes can pass the ball to, right? Besides Kelce.
And they use it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the game plan last week, I'm sure Worthy was a big part of it. So as soon as he went out, I think their game plan got thrown out the window. And that was part of their problem. The way I view it now, Hollywood Brown's going to get a lot of targets. He's a top 24 play. And I actually, I think Kelce's going to have a pretty good game too. They have very limited options. So I would start Kelce. I would start Hollywood Brown. Pacheco, I didn't start him, unfortunately. I started Krofsky Merritt, which is obviously in hindsight not a good move. But Pacheco just didn't seem to get it going last week. So I have a bad taste in my mouth. I know, if the game plan calls for it and they are in a position with the lead, he'll get more carries, but I don't see that happening this game either. I think that it's going to be more of a pass heavy attack by the Chiefs again.
Yeah. I mean, I actually think that I feel better about the run game this week for the Chiefs. I just feel like they don't have anyone to pass the ball to. So
you better hope that Jalen Carter spits on Pat Mahomes then. Because he's playing this week.
Oh, is he? I actually thought he was sitting for it. I thought he was still.
I thought he was going to too, but they ended up using that game as a suspension because he was out the whole game. Did he even get a snap in?
No, this was before the game.
Right at the beginning, right?
Yeah,
when came on the field.
The game even started.
So that's probably part of the reason
I actually think the Chiefs are going to win this game, which I think that's a pretty rare take. I think most people assume that they're going to lose, but I just don't see them starting 0-2. Statistically, I don't see Pat Mahomes starting 0-2.
It's those well-coached teams that just get it done, even when it doesn't seem likely.
Yeah. It might be a super ugly game. I don't know, but
yeah. Where they at? Are they at Kansas City?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Moving on.
One other semi-important note in that game, I'm sorry, is Dallas Goedert has been ruled out. So usually when Dallas Goedert doesn't play, the receivers do tend to have a bigger game. So with that said, Devonta Smith might be an option for those that have him. I don't say that very often, but when Goddard's out, he usually has a pretty decent game.
Yeah, and if you need to, too, Dotson as well. I mean, that was shocking that he got more targets than AJ Brown did. But I mean, if AJ Brown's covered and he's open, I mean, you got to get the ball to the open guy. So
I just hate how the Eagles play fantasy wise. It's just one of those teams.
Well, unless you have Hurts.
Unless you have Hurts, which I do have Hurts in the league. So that's
it feels like Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, right? Like you couldn't start even the running back. You could never start a running back with them.
Even though you still did it somehow.
Yeah.
You could never start a running back, so I would start both the running backs every year.
Because you never knew who was going to get the carries from week to week. You're like, well, okay, I'll roll the dice with this guy this week.
I'll start Danny Woodhead again. I don't care.
Exactly. When is this guy going to become irrelevant? And he's another one of those guys where he'll end up on a different team and he'll still be relevant, still doing the same thing, taking carries
exact
away
role.
From
same exact role. Just like you said, he went to the Chargers and did the same thing.
We have this guy who, when he runs, you can't see his legs because they're just moving faster than his body. His body's just still, and his legs are just
it's like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah, his legs were super short. I miss Danny Woodhead.
Yeah,
it's like 5'6", wasn't he? God, he was tiny.
Yeah.
It was so hilarious seeing him in a huddle full of just gigantic linemen, and he got this Smurf. It was.
Who's this kid that snuck on the field?
Yeah,
he was like the white Darren Sproles, man. How
was he not just terrified?
They had the same thing going on.
Yeah.
Few games left here, guys. The very exciting Sunday night football game, Vikings-Falcons. I'm interested to see if the Vikings actually unleash some sort of air attack now that they kind of got JJ settled in last week. I felt like they were being really, really conservative with them at the beginning of the last Monday night's game. Going into this one, do you see, because the Falcons have a pretty decent secondary, Do you see any Vikings receiver having a big game? Do you see Hockenson? You can see Hockenson maybe coming back this week and having his breakout game. Not sure. We're obviously starting Justin Jefferson regardless. Which Vikings running back are you guys starting, or are you starting both of them?
I would go with Mason. I would go with him over Jones.
I've seen a survey this week on YouTube. Which Vikings running back do you think is going to have the bigger game? And I clicked Mason, and it was like 90% was saying Mason.
Yeah, I think he's going to take over that starting role.
Well, I think Aaron Jones knows that he's kind of like the third down wider, catching passes out of the back at the back. I think that he understands his role, and I think Aaron Jones has always been okay with being that guy. I mean, even in Green Bay, I think he's cool with less pain to his body situation.
Right.
I mean, he still gets paid more than Jordan Mason. He still has the bigger of the two contracts. So
I
think he's as far as that change of pace situation. I mean, Aaron Jones, when he's fresh, he just has a tremendous burst, and you've got the plotting, Mason who passes the eye test, looked really good, and then you put in Aaron Jones after that, and it's just a completely different dynamic. I love that 1-2 punch there. Absolutely. As far as the game plan goes, I think you were spot on, Corey. It looked like they were just trying to let's just kind of start conservatively, and I think that he got the nerves out. So I do see them passing a little bit more. I feel comfortable, and I mean, you got to think we're also without Jordan Addison here for another couple games, so that's going to play a part in the game plan as well. So
if you had to start a second receiver for the Vikings, who you starting? You starting Speedy? You starting Thielen, or do you just think Hockenson and Jefferson?
I would start Thielen.
Did both of you guys say the same thing?
No.
I said
he'd stay away.
You'd stay away.
Said I would start Thielen.
Okay.
Just because he's reliable, especially.
And I think Thielen's still learning the playbook a little bit, but which is why we didn't see a lot from him last week, honestly. And also we all thought that Naylor was going to be hurt, and he played.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I guess the positive to Thielen, kind of one thing that I was considering is, I mean, if we're in a position to kind of placate to the fans, what would be better than getting Adam Thielen a touchdown at home in our first home game? I mean,
that's true.
Right.
The roof will blow off.
That's true. So if you got to start a guy in a guillotine league, because right now your only option is Juwan Jennings, and everyone's hurt on that team. Maybe we look for Thielen.
Maybe
on that waiver wire, he might be there. I'm not sure.
When we go
other side of the ball, Falcons.
Falcons, Penix, obviously.
Yeah.
Drake London's going to be.
Are you starting Penix?
Yeah, I did. Okay. I actually started him last week.
But you also were in a Superflex league.
Hey, we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah. Did you guys see that meme of Penix diving into the end zone? I mean, because when he dove in the end zone, he was like nowhere near he was like, I mean, was he 5 yards away or something?
Yeah, it was awesome.
So it's a still of him. It's a still of him diving in the end zone. It doesn't look like he's going to get there, but then it says live footage that Penix length does matter.
Love it.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah. Start him. But I also, in that Superflex, I have Jared Goff. So I think I moved Penix into the QB spot, and then I moved Goff down.
And Penix had 298 yards last week. So, I mean, I honestly think that he's going to be a great fantasy QB at some point. Honestly.
Yeah. He looked good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not anti Penix at all. He did have an awesome game, and his running is going to save him quite a bit. You just with that Vikings defense, I guess they are going to be short a couple of solid guys as well. So that'll likely be a good call, especially in a super flex.
Yeah. So Drake London, he's a go this week, correct?
Yep.
As is Bajan.
So we'll start Drake London. We'll start Bajan. You guys starting Kyle Pitts?
Only if you have to. I still wouldn't trust him yet. But it seems like he's got some kind of chemistry with Penix. So, he's worth a shot, but only if you have to start him. If you got a better option.
But I feel like this is going to be a high scoring game. If you had to start a wide receiver 2 on Atlanta, who would you start?
Mooney.
Yeah, I would go Mooney.
Okay. And I actually thought Mooney was out.
No, he's playing this week. Yep.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Yep.
2 Monday night games this week, guys, and these are our final 2 games here. Buccaneers, Texans. Buccaneers game. Let's just start with the starts for the Bucks. Shepley, who you starting for the Bucks?
Egbuka.
Starting Buka?
Yep, I would start him. And then
Mike
yeah,
Evans,
I would
obviously.
if Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield, I would go with him.
Okay.
And then obviously
Bucky
Irving. Yeah, I would. He would probably be a second option for me, but I wouldn't put him as a number one. But I would say a high 2, low 1, I guess.
Anyone else you'd start, Justin?
No, I wouldn't. And I'm also I've downgraded Baker. He didn't really look great last week. I know he's got the weapons, but that Texans D is pretty for real. So I've got a league with Baker and Justin Fields, and I'm starting Fields. Kind of a combination between, obviously Fields had a good week last week, but I'm not really trusting Baker as much as I usually would.
Yeah, if I'm you, I'm considering Justin Fields my every week starter in that league besides bye week at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Texans side of the ball, Stroud, he seems that he has not returned to his rookie form yet, which I was expecting week 1. But I know how you feel about Nico, so we're all starting Nico for sure.
Yep. 100%.
What do you guys think of the running back situation down there in Houston? Which running back are you guys going with this week?
Oh, well, I think Chubb is the way you have to go.
Yeah.
But I
don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
And they got to do something. Someone has to run the ball, right?
Yeah. I mean, he'll get the carries as far as if he's going to be super effective. Maybe if he gets a goal line carry, but, maybe a 15 for 55 stat line, that wouldn't surprise me.
I just don't understand how he's not the same after his leg got folded into a pretzel on live TV.
Right. Yeah. It's so
makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
I would keep an eye. This is a deep player that I don't even think is on anybody's radar. But Woody Marks, maybe keep an eye on him. He was great at USC. Can catch out of the backfield. So as the season goes on, he may be an option. Depending on how Mixon's injury goes. You might see him start sneaking into the lineup here, but yeah, Woody Marks is definitely a guy I would keep an eye on because he can go out as a receiver as well.
I was kind of hoping for a Dameon Pierce resurgence, but I don't think that's going to ever happen, is it?
No, I don't think so.
I did hear a funny note about Stroud earlier this week. It might have been on another podcast about maybe his rookie year was the anomaly rather than last year being the anomaly, which is a pretty scary thought.
I know, but when you hear him talk, he just sounds like he knows what's going on. Like he sounds like he's like, super smart football wise. But
why wouldn't he just throw it in Nico's direction then? I mean, that seems like
why isn't he the guy that just only throws to Nico? Maybe he's too smart for his own good. He thinks he can spread the ball around.
Oh, yeah. I hope he figures it out.
Is there any other?
Trust me, pal. You're not that guy.
Playing on the Texan side.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to the
Texans
final game.
D.
Then. What's that?
Texans D.
Texans D, baby.
Yeah, they're solid.
Chargers and Raiders. Honestly, I think the Raiders are actually massively better this year than last year. Massive QB improvement over there.
Yeah.
Who are you guys starting for the Raiders besides, obviously, you guys are starting Ashton Genty.
Yep.
Who else you guys?
Bowers, if he plays. I think he's still questionable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bowers doesn't play, dude. I am cooked in pretty much every league.
If anybody who has Bowers, you need to go pick up Michael Mayer and just have him on your squad and then make that call. It's the last game of the week, so if Bowers doesn't go, Mayer's going to do an adequate job as well for you.
Yeah. And I just, with a Pete Carroll offense as well, he tends to run the ball a lot. So keep an eye on Dante Thornton. I wouldn't even think about starting him at this point, but he definitely had, some targets last week with Geno Smith, so I would keep an eye on him.
And I picked them up. I picked them up in a redraft league. Off the waivers as soon as who's the guy that just retired?
Amari Cooper.
Cooper.
Amari Cooper. As soon as I got the Amari Cooper news, I picked up Thornton off the waiver and stashed it. So
between him and Beck, and I thought Beck was going to be the rookie wide receiver that they were going to go with, and with Thornton kind of came out of nowhere in the preseason. So,
you guys starting Jacoby Myers?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially in a PPR league. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Starting Jacoby Myers as well. Chargers side of the ball, they threw a lot last week in week 1. It almost seemed like they were back to their historical Chargers form. Moving forward, do you forecast, Justin, do you forecast them doing that again, or do you think they're going to go back to pounding the rock?
They're much like the Steelers. They want to run the ball and play tough-nosed defense. They were playing the Chiefs last week, so maybe they needed to switch up the game plan. It's an adequate arsenal, so the ability's there, and I just don't see it being as much as last week, but more than we were used to last season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was surprised to see that Hampton seen the field a lot more than Najee last week. And do you guys expect that to continue, or do you think Najee was kind of nursing back that eye situation?
No, I think it's going to be that going forward. I think you're going to see Hampton. I just don't think Najee Harris has what he had his rookie year, his first couple years in the league. So
he started every year in the league, and he only had that rookie year was the only time I really felt comfortable about Najee.
Yeah.
The entire rest of his career, he was always kind of hit or miss to me. I was nervous to start him.
Right.
Every season after that.
Yeah.
But
I did look at him as like.
Oh, there was a little delay there. Sorry, Corey.
It's all good. Go
ahead. All right. Well, so for me, I was going to say it's a tough call with that backfield. Hampton looks the part. He has the skill set. I don't know if they're going to not play Najee at all. I mean, that seemed like the case last week. He just got a couple of snaps, a handful of snaps, maybe 5%. And while we all kind of want that to be the case as the Hampton owners, I don't see that happening.
He just missed he missed a lot of practice leading up to the game. So
yeah, I think that's more the case. I don't think it's going to be a 50-50 by any means, and Hampton will get more of the carries, but I still think Najee's going to get a little bit more than he had last week.
Everyone loves Ladd McConkey. You guys starting Ladd McConkey?
I would start him. Between
him over Quentin or Keenan, who you guys starting? Quentin or Keenan? If you had to start a second,
Quentin. I would go Quentin. He had a rough rookie year last year. I mean, he had a lot of drop balls, but he looks good this year. So I would definitely go with Quentin over Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen.
I think Quentin had a rough first 2 years, but then at the end of last year, he started catching fire. I guess between the two, I'd go PPR, I'd go Allen, non-PPR, I'd go Quentin. I do love what I saw from Quentin at the end of last year and then the first game. Just so many mouths to feed. I think McConkey's kind of the only guaranteed guy, and even then, I'm curbing my expectations from what I had him at preseason.
So many mouths to feed in such a heavy run game. So it's really hard to tell. I think that if I had to start one of them, because every one of my leagues is PPR, it would be Keenan Allen. He put up 18 on my bench. Obviously, I'm probably not going to start him if I don't have to. But if I had to, I would just shove him in just to see what happens, just because of the rapport and the relationship that he has with, in that offense. So,
yeah,
I think that ended up translating last week to him getting a few of those extra possessional grabs. So look at that. We're an hour in and we've actually covered every single game.
Right on.
Crazy, huh?
Turns out that when we don't have Stump here talking for 25 minutes on every game, we can actually get through it in 1 hour.
We'll send this one to him and say, hey, here's how we're going to proceed.